A stage mod is an effect that is applied to a stage, which is more often than not negative. Some of them are positive, but usually they will obstruct your play in some way, or at least have to they force you to think a different way. There are ways of removing them. They are quite valuable, and you want to prioritize them in more difficult difficulty settings. But I'm just going to run through a few of the more notable ones. This is thanks to the contributions to the Demoncrawl wiki. Please add to the wiki. We need more wiki people. I don't know if they're all here. Some of them are missing, but yeah, I'll just take it from the top. Aching is actually beneficial in a way. If you're good at playing without revealing monsters, then yeah, it is useful. This will, every 50 cells you open without making a mistake, decrease the maximum power of all other stages. This can really take the teeth out of some of the harder levels. But yeah, make a mistake, it does the opposite, which is pretty terrible. Apocalyptic stage contains harbingers. Is it harbingers of the apocalypse? This is awful. Those guys can kill you at the end of a level unless you pay them an awful lot of cash. So you just be aware that that is worth removing. Blinding, really not that bad. You can't see monster damage. If you're really thinking about monster damage, there's only so much you can do about it. You know, it doesn't affect you that much to know how much you're going to get hurt, unless you're really planning on making a weird gamble. But your stats can be an issue because you can no longer see your lives or defense or your cash. So it sort of interferes with your planning. Brooding, not that big a deal, just generates monsters. Communist, you got to pay to open your inventory. That sucks. It just means you really got to think about when you use your items. Convulsing, yeah, it's fine as long as you don't make more than one mistake. Stage power doubles if you get hurt. Cryptic sucks. If a value of a cell is more than 4, you can no longer see what the value actually is. You can just tell that it's at least 4. That can be really dangerous. You have to use the surrounding cells around the cryptic cell to sort of gauge what value it's likely to have. But yeah, expect a lot of guessing when one of those is in play. Dangerous, yeah, monsters hit you harder. Dark, all you can see is a circle around your cursor. It can be distracting, it's not so bad. Devouring, yeah, we're going to need to update that on the wiki, and I don't remember what it does. Double stage must be completed twice. Yeah, once you complete a stage, you'll come out of the stage. You'll see a message box saying you can see another stage name in the distance, and you have to play it again. And that's all that does. Usually not too bad, and it gives you more XP. You have to play the stage again, you get the XP again, you get the loot again. I mean, it'll be a new version of the stage, but you'll gain another batch of loot. Dramatic, just another one that makes the stage harder, not so bad. Dry, it's a pain in the neck, but you're guaranteed 3 chests. Big whoop. Educational is actually negative. If you're, like I've been, updating the stages page on the wiki to try and get the unique sign text for every stage, this is great. It really helps you out. What you've got to bear in mind is that any cell can contain a sign. That means that the sign can obscure the value of a cell. So instead of seeing that this cell contains 2, unless you have the item that allows you to see through cell contents to the actual cell value, educational will block your view quite a lot, and that sucks. Electric, yeah, we'll get on to elemental effects sooner or later. Electric is beneficial. It makes monsters more powerful sometimes, but beneficial. Elemental can wreck a run. Depending on how you feel about freezing cells. I hate them personally, but yeah, it's up to you. Explosive blows real hard. Any object that you interact with can explode, has a 50-50 chance of exploding. Tokens can explode, artifacts can explode, chests can explode. If an object explodes, you don't gain the benefit from it, you'll just take some damage. If you have a minion running around and it collects explosive loot, your minions can kill you, and that's great. Fickle, whenever you interact with loot, destroy all other visible loot. This is a really good way to get the achievement. I think it's called Unforgivable, which you get if you destroy a token, because yeah, that'll destroy tokens. When this is in play, just bear in mind that when you see an artifact, a coin, a diamond, or a chest, or anything similar, or hearts as well, I think, prioritize your collection and make sure that you're not leaving things on the board unless you have to. Haunted, if you're not revealing monsters, a lot of the mods are along the lines of if you don't reveal a monster, you'll be fine. So otherwise, you gain omens. That's pretty dreadful. Hidden, stage contains one single monster. This is weird. This only applies, I believe, to I think it's trans-dimensional gates, which are a very special type of level that only appears in the I forget what it's called, multi-dimension. It's one of the end game stages. The final level will always be hidden, and it will always have one monster in it, because that's sort of the transition into the next stage. Judging, yeah, sure. It's sort of the inverse of most mod rules. It's not if you if you avoid monsters, you'll be fine. This is if you don't flag empty cells, you'll be fine. Mauling, yeah, mauling will kill you. Monsters attack you twice, so every monster is like you've clicked on two monsters. Right, melting is really special. Every 30 real world seconds, lose a random item. Melting will teach you to speed solve really quickly, because otherwise you're going to lose your entire inventory. But one thing that it doesn't mention is that any random item you will lose. You can use melting to destroy all of your omens if you're willing to wait. Misty, click on a monster, that monster will go somewhere else. Yeah, not that bad. Native, monsters may spawn in cells that you open. That just means that a monster will appear but won't hurt you in an otherwise safe cell. If this is combined with a mod that monsters hurt you when they're revealed, yeah, that's going to kill you. Nightmare, you can't flag cells. Yeah, I don't like that at all. I have abandoned runs because of Nightmare, because I play a very flag-heavy game. It's definitely possible to work around, unless you have burning cells, in which case you do need to cord them to reveal them, and not being able to flag means you can't cord. So yeah, that can be an issue. But Nightmare, it guarantees you that you'll get a flagless bonus at the end of the level, so that's fine. Nomadic is one of the considered beneficial ones. You'll generate a lot of nomads. That's usually great. I think it can generate bad ones. I think it can generate bagmen, but I'm not certain about that. It could just be actual nomads rather than strangers. Monsters deal damage to your max life rather than your rather than hurting you, they'll subtract from your max life instead. That's really rough. Effectively, monsters are removing souls. Ominous, gain an omen, and you don't get to do anything about it. Cool. Overwhelming monster count is greater than usual. Sometimes having a lot of monsters is useful, particularly if you're playing Spy. It's very nice. Otherwise, that's just a negative, but not a bad one. Pagan, lose up to half your items, but gain an additional heart for every item lost this way. So, lose up to half your items, and gain a probably useless resource in return. That's bad. Predatory, at the end of the stage, any visible monsters have a 50% chance of just hitting you again. So, yeah, if you've been playing a native, then that will probably kill you. Rising, at the end of the stage, increase the monster count of all of the stages for each visible monster. Right? If you don't find any visible monsters, fine. Sealed, seal 3 inventory slots. That's just taking things away from you. Shiny is one of the beneficial ones. You will spawn an awful lot of cash on a shiny level. Silenced, can't use magic items, does what it says on the tin. Stronghold, monsters deal extra damage. Yeah, okay, if you can see other monsters, then getting hit by a monster will hurt more. Yeah. Team, when you make a mistake, all surrounding cells are revealed. Yeah, that means that you're forcefully cording cells, and regardless of whether or not it was safe to do so. That's bad. Temporal, don't generate mana. Yeah. Timeless, lose 1 life every minute. Yeah, that will teach you to speed solve pretty quickly too. Trusty is wonderful. Yeah, you don't have there will be guaranteed no 50-50s on this level. You can guaranteed solve this stage without guessing at all, unless you have an omen in play that causes something bad to happen. So, or a stage mod. So, for example, if you have Cryptic, yeah, your stage is Trusty, provided you know what the values of all the cells are, but Cryptic says no. So you may have to guess. Or if you have an omen that will do something like... there is at least one that will completely remove your ability to use Trusty. Man, I've completely forgotten what it is. But just be aware that Trusty applies before any effects of mods or items. Tunnel's good, sort of. When you when you play a level, you will have to play 3 of them at once. The first 2 levels contain a staircase, and once you click on it, it counts as solving. Well, it doesn't count as solving the level, but you will go down to the next level in the tunnel, and each level will be slightly larger than the last. The 3rd level you will have to solve like a regular game of Minesweeper, and then the level will be over. This synergizes really strangely with double. If you enter a double tunnel, every time you go further down into the tunnel, the next level will be larger. Then, once you've finished all the levels, double will kick in and you'll have to play again, meaning that you'll have to play another tunnel. But on the second iteration, on the doubled version, the first tunnel will be larger than the last one you played, so the levels will keep increasingly getting larger and larger. Which means that by the time you get to the 6th one, the level's going to be enormous, but won't have that many monsters in it, so will be incredibly easy to solve. Also, if you find any mystic statues, entering a mystic statue counts as spawning a new level. If you enter a mystic statue level on a tunnel, the mystic statue will contain a staircase, which will move you down to the next level of the tunnel, but will also count as having opened a new level of the tunnel, but won't count as moving further down in the tunnel. So a mystic statue found in a tunnel means that you'll have to go down into 4 levels instead of 3. If you find double along with that, then you could potentially be entering 7 or more levels, at which point you probably won't even be able to see the edges of the stage. It will be just a tremendous level. It looks cool when it happens. And finally, there's Viral. Duplicate all your omens if you're injured. There are some omens that don't get worse for having more than one of them. Not that many, but some. Like Dead Rodent. You don't spawn hearts. Heart pickups don't appear. If you have 2 of those, well, it isn't like that can happen harder. You can't have harder than doesn't ever happen. So that's fine. And Wicked, enter the stage, spawn 5 cankers. We'll get onto orbs later on. Cankers slow you down and are just annoying, but otherwise you can deal with them usually.